I talk a lot about threshold moments in my videos. They are the pivotal moments in life. But what is a threshold moment? So I got this email from somebody who watches my videos, and it turned into this dialogue that we had back and forth that I want to share here, which I'm doing with this young man's permission, because this is going to illustrate the architecture of a threshold moment. So his name is Manoj, and he wrote to me about his particular predicament, which was regarding which path to pursue for education. But I don't want you to focus on the specifics so much, unless you happen to relate to that specific situation. I want you to identify the deeper layer, because there is something that we all face in our threshold moments, which comes through in here. Here's just an excerpt from this email that's, I think, the key part. So Manoj says, I naturally gravitated towards subjects involving philosophy, psychology, and the study of mind and society. However, due to family expectations and financial concerns, I chose the science stream, believing that that would provide greater security. Despite sincere effort, I struggled not due to lack of discipline, but due to a deep mismatch between my intrinsic interests and the nature of the subjects. He then goes on to describe how he comes from a challenging family environment, financially and emotionally, and that his family strongly tried to steer him toward engineering and technology, as families often do. And then he asks me some questions about my views on building a stable and meaningful career in the path of his true interests. So on the surface, this might appear to most people like a question about academic or career advice. However, I see things very, very differently. This, to me, is something much more profound. This is somebody who has reached a threshold moment. It is a moment of initiation, like I've talked about in other videos. And so as I unpack this, I want you to locate yourself in this as well. Again, not in the specifics, but in the deeper layers. I want you to feel into the threshold moment, because we all live through these in different aspects of our lives at different points in our lives. Career, relationships, spirituality, other parts of our life journey. And if you're naturally drawn to me, to my videos, to my work, then there's a very good chance that you are living through one of these moments right now. Okay, so let's get back to this specific situation. So in Manoj's case, life is presenting him with a choice. He can pursue the path that is most aligned with his innate gifts, with his calling, but do so at the risk of financial instability and the disapproval of his loved ones. Or, alternative path, he can choose the safe path and risk abandoning himself. So now I want to read to you what I wrote in response. But actually, before I read what I wrote, I just want to pause for one quick second and say what we're doing here. This slowing a question down, listening beneath the obvious answers. This is actually the kind of work that I sometimes do live with a small group. It is a free, quiet space where people can bring actual questions, real lived questions and circumstances. It is not a webinar. It is not a pitch. I promise you that. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll work live with volunteers, and other times you can just listen and you can see what lands for you. So if you feel at all drawn to that kind of live sense making, I will leave a link below for that, and you can check out if you want to join the next one that's coming up. Okay, so I received this email and I read it, and I immediately see something different than what most people would see. I see a man who's being invited to accept the call of his hero's journey in life. There were the questions that he asked, but as I sensed into it and I felt into it, what was much more evident to me was this felt more like moments where I've had people approach me, and if I was to give voice to their circumstance, it was like, I'm about to do this thing, and people are going to call me crazy. And I'm even starting to wonder if I'm crazy. But I hear something in you that tells me that you understand, that you see me, and that you won't think I'm crazy. And maybe in having that reflected back to me, I'm going to know that I'm not alone. I'm going to have a little bit more strength to do this thing. And I do see you. And I don't think you're crazy. In fact, I think you're about to make one of the sanest and wisest decisions imaginable. You're going to move in the direction of your truth. Okay, here's the excerpt of my email. I said this to Manoj. You have arrived at a choice point and have made your choice. Path A, pursue a safe, secure path that your family of origin would like to steer you into. Yes, it may be the one that has higher perceived odds of offering a stable, solid income. Maybe. But it's also the path that will likely leave you unfulfilled and leave you wondering what if. Path B, pursue the path you have chosen. This requires accepting a certain amount of uncertainty. There's a chance you'll have to make certain sacrifices, like choosing to live on less money for a time. You may have to feel the disapproval of your family of origin for your decision, perhaps for years, maybe. But you will be on a path that aligns with your true passions and interests. You will enjoy the work itself. There will be meaning behind it. This meaning will help you weather the uncertainty, the financial challenges, and the challenges with your family. Either path will have challenges, the ones you foresee and the ones you can't. But do you choose the challenges that come with sacrificing yourself to please the gods of security, safety, and approval from others? Or do you choose the challenges of finding a way to navigate the uncertainties and complexities of serving something you love? From where I sit, you are making a choice that is something to honor and celebrate. Your family may not be able to do that for you at this time because they have their own beliefs and life experiences they're filtering your decisions through, but I will do what they may not be able to do yet and tell you this. I respect your decision deeply. It is difficult to convey the depth of that respect over email, so pause for a second and see if you can feel it, because it is deep. So now let me speak to you at your threshold. The path that looks safe is often the riskier path. Delaying career alignment makes changes harder down the road because responsibilities accumulate. Delaying relationship alignment deepens patterns. It defers relational fulfillment. Delaying living your truth in any aspect of your life is a form of betraying yourself that always causes pain. And in many ways, that pain is much deeper because it's existential. I speak with such conviction about this because I have lived both sides of this. I spent nearly 2 decades living a path that betrayed myself, that led to physical health challenges, to anxiety, to a period of depression, to a period of addiction. Then I chose to follow my truth. That choice has also come with challenges, like not being understood by many people, like financial security, like having to stand remarkably alone and hold my ground amidst hurricane force winds and forces. I will never tell you that living your truth is the easier path. Who could ever know? The question is, do you want to live a life of alignment? Or do you want to live a life that is somebody else's agenda? That's all I have for you today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. Peace and love.